most recent podcast episode, Brent and I discussed using AI to prepare for a class. And so I decided to go ahead and try it myself because I wanted to see how much time it would take. I also wanted to see how much I would have to refine my prompts for ChatGPT in this case, and share the results. So I am going to demonstrate a little bit because I already did it and I already have the final sample done and cleaned up. But what I did is I used ChatGPT. I used the free version. Brent uses the ChatGPT 4. I think it's what it is, 4. Let's see, 4. Yeah, GPT 4. I have GPT 3.5, and I started out by giving a prompt to the bot that I wanted to build out a 10-week activity curriculum guide for a class of American Idioms. And so I already actually went ahead and did that. And what I want to do is show you exactly where I started, because the prompts is what makes or breaks the output. Again, it's important to remember that the bot is going to do just what you tell it, and it's not smarter than you, although it can handle tons of information. You've got to fine-tune the information and be as specific as possible. So I started off with this description, and I'll read it to you, but I'm not going to go through everything that I wrote. I am teaching a 10-week class on learning American idioms for adults learning English. And the reason I put adults in there is because there are safeguards in place so that certain things don't come through if you're working with children. And so it will tell you. So anyway, adults learning English. They are about a B1 and B2 CEFR language level. Now, if you're following any other kind of standard, or I guess if you're using just different levels to differentiate the skills of your students, between the skill levels of your students, you've got to let it know what those are. So you could actually, if you have something already typed up, you can put it in there and say, my students are of this level. The students will meet twice a week for 1 hour and a half. Objectives include viewing 60 to 80 idioms through the term. I should say throughout the term. My students need to be able to use them in context and show that they understand the meaning of the idiom by creating dialogues, acting out skits, or writing sentences using the target idioms. Create a 10-week plan to teach this course. Now, you'll notice that I already gave it an example of how I would like my students to show that, to demonstrate that they understand the idioms. And I have here activities that require that my students produce something. Right after that, ChatGPT gave me this. So weeks 1 and 2, intro to idioms. It gave me a few activities. 3 and 4, body idioms, animal idioms, food-related idioms. And then the last week, or the last 2 weeks, review and application. And so this is not yet pretty full, but now I broke it apart into thematic weeks. Okay. And then of course at the end it gives me a little tip. So throughout the course, provide regular opportunities for group activities, partner work, individual exercises, blah, 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 blah. I don't care about this part because I'm an experienced teacher, but I do appreciate that it's giving me that little tip. But I wanted more, so I said, thank you. I like this plan. Can you add a homework assignment for each week? And it responded, and here are the suggestions. So the homework: choose 3 idioms introduced in class, write a short paragraph for each explaining their meanings and use them in your sentences. Homework for week 3 and 4, find 3 additional body-related idioms online or in a book. Write sentences using each idiom. So the homework, as I'm glancing at it, it's pretty varied. Notice here it said at least 5 animal-related idioms. It probably understands that there are more animal idioms than body-related idioms. So that's a good thing. So again, I will go back and fine-tune that to my liking later. But now you have tentative homework assignments, or at least ideas. But I wanted more. I didn't want my students, because if you notice here, in the last week, it says, reflect on the entire course. Write a short essay discussing the impact of idioms on language, citing examples from your own experiences. Share your essay in the final class. I don't think this is appropriate for my students, especially for language learners, but I didn't want to spend time telling the bot what to do here. I just wanted to avoid lots of writing because for this course, I wanted more production in terms of dialogue. So I wrote, adjust this to exclude long writing assignments. It would be better to have activities that require acting out or performing dialogues or giving a short 3-minute presentation, which is way better, right? And if you have a class of 20 students, you can't do that many essays. Plus, you don't want to grade that many essays. Then ChatGPT gave me a modified version of the homework. And now I had more interactive assignments included. So you have here, choose 3 idioms for the class, act out a short scenario or dialogue, create a brief skit with a partner, develop a dialogue with 2 characters, where there's 2 characters, use animal-related idioms, etc., etc., etc. So it actually did a much better job of giving me the type of homework assignment that I might have. And if I decided not to do a homework assignment, this could very easily turn into a group project that I could have the students do instead. And then for homework, it would be like practice the dialogue. But I wanted a little bit more so that I could feel like I had more of a robust plan for the class. So I said, thank you. This is great. I would like you to create a list of idioms that I could use for each week. I might add new ones, but I need a list to start from. And so it gave me some idioms based on the plan. And here's some food, or these are just introduction, I guess. Did it have? No, these are not food. So then it had body idioms, animal idioms, food-related idioms. There they are. And it only gave me 3. And I obviously want more. And if you're lucky, you might have a textbook that goes with this. But the great thing is that I don't need a textbook. I can just I can ask ChatGPT for those examples. Then I said, can you make the list include 10 to 15 idioms? If you cannot find them, add a new idiom category. So now it gave me an extended list for every category, and now I actually have plenty to choose from. And I'm looking at it and I see that the explanations are pretty short and they're easy to understand. So it's not giving me long drawn out explanations because I told it that my students were a particular level. I think it chose from whatever source it was looking at. Now this one, I might have to go and refine because I don't expect my students to know the word inquisitive. Also this one, futile, but that's okay. I don't have to use these words, but I have something to work from. And now that's a lot less work for me to have to edit later. I also later said, all right, this is great. I would like you to add a few new categories: military idioms that are used in the mainstream, color idioms, school idioms, and money idioms. So here are some more categories. And I like these actually, because now if I run short of material, I can always throw something in, or if I find that there's a type of idiom that might resonate more with my students, especially like money idioms and school idioms, that might be a good thing to incorporate. Finally, I said, well, you know what? I also need media. So let's ask ChatGPT for something like that. I said, thank you. This is great. Now I would like to have some videos or media such as songs, commercials, or anything that I can use to add some different materials showing the content. Can you find me some suggestions for each week? So now it gave me a few TED Ed videos or videos from different places. So, I'm going to have to go back later and check and make sure that these are something I would use with my students, of course. But the cool thing is now it added a song, and here's It's Raining Cats and Dogs by, actually, I don't know who this is. So if this is like a song I'm supposed to know, I'm sorry, I don't know the song, but it's great. Now I have a song, and my students love talking about this idiom. So I think that they would love the song. here's the song Head, Shoulders, Knees, and Toes, and it's a traditional children's song. And although I'm working with adults, they do have fun learning what American children might learn here, so that they have that reference in case their kids are learning. What I don't like is that it didn't actually give me a movie or a TV clip, which is fine. I mean, I can go ahead and do that, but that would have been cool. So I wanted to test its limits. Rachel's English Food Idioms, The Banana Boat Song by Harry Belafonte. So this is actually pretty cool. Maybe I can always go back and say, give me different song choices. But if I already have a list of songs that I know I can share, I can also edit. But again, this already has something there to start with. So that's actually pretty cool. And then, of course, I have 2 more things I wanted to include in my plan. I said, wonderful work. I'd also like to have a few games I could play with my students to break up the monotony. Do you have any suggestions? And it gave me idiom charades, bingo, memory match, and hot seat, Pictionary, and sentence relay. Now, I read through these. Oh no, here's a bunch more. Idiom story chain, idiom guess who. I read through the descriptions of each, and some of them seem like they're just too similar. But again, I don't have to play all of these games. These are just ideas. I can cross out the ones I don't want to play. For example, I might not want to do memory match because I don't have enough time to create the cards. But hot seat would be cool, and sentence relay would be cool, and idiom story chain might be cool too. Finally, because all my students are from different countries, different regions, I wanted to include something or see what I could find in terms of connecting idioms to their culture. So I wrote, this is great, thank you. The last thing I want to add in is a section on idioms that might translate similarly into other languages or idioms that we got from different cultures. This would help my students find connections within their own cultures. My students may come from China, Taiwan, Saudi Arabia, Morocco, Italy, Jordan, Iraq, Egypt, Mexico, Puerto Rico, Honduras, Thailand, Vietnam, Japan, and other regions. And this part kind of blew me away because this is really cool. It gave me some cross-cultural idioms that are common in many languages or cultures. It gave me Chinese idioms with the Chinese spelling, and pronunciation, which is actually pretty cool. Arabic, Italian, Spanish, and Thai idioms. Now, of course, I would want to verify these because I didn't ask it for its sources. I could ask it for its sources, of course, but I can vouch that we do have these in Spanish. So again, if I wanted some more, I could prompt it for idioms in Japanese or something like that, but that was pretty cool. And so after I finished and I was happy, I went back and I copied and pasted everything to edit because now I want it to have a clean copy. And here's what the clean copy sort of looks like. You can see all of my prompts in the yellow. So let's count how many it took me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and the last one is 9 that I still haven't finished editing. There we go. So it took me 9 prompts to get all of this, which would be a 10-week spread of something that I could teach in terms of idioms if I had to teach a class all of a sudden and I didn't have something to start from. So I think that this is great. Normally it would take me all 10 weeks to figure out what I would teach when I would teach it again, how I would teach it the following time I'm assigned to teach something. So this is really cool. I'm going to go ahead and post this on our website, TESOL.org/99, because it's episode 99. If you want to try it out as well, modify the prompts that I gave it, feel free.